Hello, it's me, Canoopsy, and this is the Roli Seaboard Rise 25. The Rise is a musical instrument and MIDI controller like no other. While it is part of the same category as controllers from Native Instruments, Roland, or Akai, this one is entirely different. The Rise 25 is called the Rise 25 because of the amount of key waves it has. This model has 25 key waves, but you can get a bigger version with 49 key waves. The Rise 25 retails for $799 US or a little over $1,000 Canadian. The Rise is built like a tank. It has an all-metal construction that is durable and looks like a professional instrument, so it's definitely not a toy. While the actual key portion is made of a very organic feeling yet durable elastomer. Keys on a keyboard are springy and solid, but the keys in the Rise are basically the opposite. Just picture yourself pushing your fingers into a huge inflated squishy bicycle inner tube, or some sort of gel that instantly reassumes its shape. That's what it basically feels like, except really, really nice. To play the Rise, just connect it to your computer with the included cable or through MIDI over Bluetooth and download the free software, which is Equator and the Roli dashboard. You can also get the free Noise app for your iOS device and connect easily through Bluetooth. Either one works, but the Equator app for your computer offers more customization, more loops, more instrument presets, and features to get the most out of your brand new instrument. To record tracks with your Rise, you have to use another piece of software, like Apple's Logic, which I'm using, or something like Pro Tools. You can use the instrument loops and presets that Equator gives you, or the ones that come with Logic, for example, or loops that you download for yourself. While the Noise app just lets you play on the go with the Rise or without it using on-screen gestures. There's a very distinct lack of instrument presets unless you buy them for some hefty prices, and sadly at this time, the app can't record, but this may be a possibility in the future. So the keys do more than just a regular press, and this is where it gets very interesting. To start, they actually read pressure, so if you push hard you get a deeper sound, if you push lightly or just tap the keys you get a much lighter sound, and this all varies depending on how much pressure is actually used. There's also 5D Touch, which is similar to Apple's 3D Touch, except much more advanced and way different. Dimension 1 is Strike, the sound produced based on the velocity and force of your finger making contact with a key. Dimension 2 is Press. After you strike a key, the lighter or harder you press gives you a varied sound. Dimension 3 is Glide, and this is where it gets very cool. Once a key has been struck, you can move your finger left and right to essentially bend a sound. Think of it like a pitch wheel for a keyboard built into every single key. Dimension 4 is Slide. You can slide up and down a key wave to produce varied sounds. And Dimension 5 is Lift. Lift is a sound produced from lifting your finger from a key wave rapidly. Next to the keys are a few controls. At the top, a preset switch to change instruments. Beneath it, touch faders to control the glide, slide, and press of the keys. There's also an XY touchpad, the power button, and controls to very quickly switch your octave. And on the side of the Rise, there are a range of ports. First, a pedal jack, then a USB-B port for charging and for a wired connection to your computer, a USB-A port for wired playing with your mobile device, and a charging port. Speaking of battery, Roli says it will last about 8 hours of continuous use, and this is definitely true, although I mainly used mine plugged in. Now you know pretty much everything that there is to know about the software, the hardware, and what makes it special. But what about what you can actually do with it? Well, I'm not a musician, so not being a musician, I can't really compare this to anything else and say what it lacks, what it needs to be better, and what this can be used for professionally. So let's ask a real musician.
Hi, my name's Mark Rady. I'm a classically trained musician who started playing by ear when I was about 9 years old. And so I studied music all through my teenage years, and as I got older I branched off into blues and jazz, and I play in a duo today with a fellow friend who's a guitar player, and we go out and we play a lot of supper clubs, a lot of charity events, raise money for the Canadian Cancer Society. It took me a few minutes to get used to the fact that I could bend notes on this accidentally as well as on purpose, and it was a little disconcerting at first when I'd be playing along and all of a sudden I'd find myself sliding off to the side of a note. Once I started thinking the way the keyboard played back, it didn't take long to figure out that you had to hit things square on when you're playing in piano mode. If you wanted to get goofy with strings and you wanted to bend things around, the keyboard suddenly started making a lot of sense. So my playing around and experimenting with this, thought, what can I do with this thing? And so what I wanted to do is maybe I'd lay down some tracks. So if I was doing orchestration, if I was a musician who had been hired to perhaps do background music for a video, for a music video, for a movie where somebody wanted to lay some tracks in, I could see this being a great tool for that. The other thing I could see it being used for personally is if, as a musician, you're out doing a gig and you're gigging yourself. And so you want to take the time and build a song. And so go through, put all your parts in. It's all about you, and it's a one-man show. And you could take this thing out on the road, sequence it, play it back, and then play live. Maybe just do the piano part, or do the organ part, or do a sax solo. A lot of times musicians have inspiration or ideas, and you want to capture that idea before it leaves your mind. And so I can see this being very handy. It doesn't take up a lot of space, but the ability to just adjust an octave on the fly with your left hand while you're playing with the right hand really kind of makes it really cool for being able to lay tracks down really, really quickly. I would have liked to have seen the ability to record on the iPad. I think that would have been a real nice feature, and then somehow export it out.
I also asked Mark what he thought the Rise costs. He didn't know, but made a very good guess.
I'm gonna guess it's probably worth $700 or $800.
Yeah, you're right. So it's $800, this thing. That's US pricing.
Oh, so it's worth $1 million Canadian.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks for being awesome. This concludes my review of Roli's Seaboard Rise 25, an instrument, keyboard, and highly advanced MIDI controller. The only negatives being a learning curve for some, a lack of included acoustic instrument presets, lack of any sort of recording in the iOS app, and for some, the price. While it may seem to be expensive at first, comparing to other MIDI controllers that lack the features, slick build, and design that this one has, it definitely makes up for it. Add an experienced musician or someone eager to learn like myself, and this is definitely an amazing tool. What do you think of this innovative musical instrument? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching.